Hey guys, what's going on? It's Fadon here, and if you don't know who I am or what I am or whatever, I make daily Valorant content, so definitely subscribe. Let's hit 15 likes on this video, and in this video, I'm gonna be talking if Valorant will come out on Mac OS board. Now, PC is big right now, right? PS4 is also big. I made a few videos on that. Console is, huge for Valorant, but nobody is talking about Valorant Mac OS, and I think all the YouTubers are doing it a huge misfavor, not answering any questions about Mac, because a lot of people have their Macs at home. So I'm gonna be talking about in the full video, which you should watch until the end, if Valorant will be on Mac, what it will look like, and how you can actually play it on your PC. Now, other than getting more players and getting money, they have to, if they want to release the game on Mac, they have to make some profit with it, right? They won't, like, servers cost a shit ton of money, and Valorant has to see the potential for Mac OS. Right now, in Valorant beta, because it's beta of course, it's only available on PC. It's a bit flawed. It still hasn't been completely fixed, but it's doing alright, I would say. Now, there are a few articles I brought up, and let's talk about the consoles. Okay, the consoles will most likely come out next year, because, for example, League of Legends is getting, on consoles, and also some card games or whatever are getting on mobile. So we could possibly suspect that it's getting on consoles, right? But nobody ever said anything about a Mac. And Macs are kind of different than a PC. Macs really have different components, have different antiviruses. That's what I really don't like about Macs. But hey, some people use Macs because they're great for work. They have other possibilities that PCs just simply do not have. A lot of people have PCs because they're more cheaper, and the Macs are usually at least like 2,000 or 3,000 before they can actually play games at a really decent level. If you get my part. But I'm gonna pull up this article right here, and here we go. Can Valorant be played on a Mac? So, can Valorant be played on a Mac? Fans of Riot Games' new first-person shooter are keen on getting in their hands on Valorant closed beta key, but some of these people don't have Windows for their OS. I could possibly agree with that. Will we see the brand new game making its way to Apple's OS? So, I just wanted to point out here, before I go to the article right here, there's been, at first, I think for League of Legends, it was only on PC, right? And then it came to Mac. So let's get the big bugbear out of the way. If you'd like to play Valorant on Mac right now, you'll be sad to hear the game currently has no native support. Which is pretty normal. Most games come out on only PC, especially multiplayer games, because you have to have different servers on a Mac and on the PC. Usually there's crossplay later in the game. However, the servers are kind of different at the start. While Riot has supported Mac gaming with their other titles like League of Legends and Teamfight Tactics, Valorant is currently restricted to PC only, kind of. Look at this. This is how you can play on a Mac. You've seen there's one option that several players are using, Bootcamp. If you're unfamiliar with Bootcamp, so what is actually Bootcamp? It's a system that allows Mac owners to install a Windows operating system on their Apple computer. Of course, this doesn't work for every Apple computer, and there are some disadvantages to this. That in turn would allow them to play a Valorant on Mac. There is one possible situation, but there can be problems. There's at least one report of Mac gamer faking repeated crashes on Reddit. Just because you can get the game to run doesn't mean that it will run well, but there's a possibility. You can play, as updates come by, I think there will be less and less crashes playing on Mac. Yes, I know it's garbage for gaming through Bootcamp and game crashing. I can't even get through the tutorial. Is there a fix? This is 24 days ago, so I'm pretty sure they're fixing like some hot crashes that have some compatibility issues. So the thing is, I don't know exactly how Bootcamp works, but if it virtualizes a Windows on top of your Mac, then it will never work because they don't allow you to play on virtual machines. Bootcamp runs on Windows 10 natively, no virtualization. Let me show you this. Let me zoom in this shit. So people are telling you can't play, you know, Mac on your virtual machine but this is actually like installing on a Mac OS. You install a Windows 10. That's what Bootcamp actually is. A lot of people don't like this idea, but you can actually run it pretty well. So as the game comes by, as it's more and more updates, so for example new patches, what it also means is that new updates for the Mac will come in. So less crashes, because there's gonna be also less crashes on Windows 10, right? So that means there's gonna be less crashes on Mac OS. Since there's currently no Mac support, the next question is, can Valorant be played on Mac in the future? Riot Games has supposed Mac gaming with League of Legends, and it wouldn't be too crazy for them to make a port at some point. For now, the answer is fortunately low at .esports highlights, blah blah blah. The developers don't have to bring Valorant to Mac just soon, so okay. But they're also not ruling out the possibility of expanding it to other platforms in the future. Here's the thing though. There's just so much money invested in Valorant right now. There's possibly millions and millions of Riot's money going, you know, into Mac, going into consoles, going into esports. And if they want to expand esports, what they have to do is expand all their platforms. So of course they will release it on PC first, because on PC they can actually see if hackers can't get through. On, for example, PS4, it's a lot more easier to cheat. You just plug the USB in, bam, that works. You know, there's also hackers on PS4, and there's less of games with actual anti-cheat system. There's a thread with this subreddit to directly ask one of Rioters in charge of testing on X machines. So this guy is asking if there will be a Mac OS release. And what people here are saying is like very different questions, but they never consider Bootcamp right here. So 50 to 16 each MVP with dedicated GPUs are more capable of running FPS games such as this, and since the visual graphics in this game appear to for the moment to be clean and not overly detailed, so that means you can play on low graphics. I don't see it for being an issue for even low end machines using the lowest video graphics settings. I suppose we'll have to wait and see what the developers say. You know, there's thousands and thousands of comments, you know. Some are not even useful at all, but I'm personally going to play the game via Bootcamp Windows, so there's one guy that will actually play. My not the most recent MacBook Air runs Battlefield 3 pretty well on it. I'm not sure quite Valorant will be able to run at somewhat acceptable frame rates. Spoiler alert, it will. If you like gaming on a Mac and don't mind sharing 40 or 50 gigabytes of your storage for Windows, then not installing it is an act of laziness. And what it, okay, so this guy actually tried playing it Valorant on his MacBook and it worked. What did you guys set the size for Windows partition? So this is just if you're gonna bootcamp it, you have to set it to 50 gigabytes. And you don't need even like a product key or anything. You can just play on an alpha or whatever, the unreleased version of Windows 10. You know what it's called. Like, you don't need the actual stream key. And there's so many people right here who, you know, are playing on Bootcamp right now. And there's people going to stores and buying, you know, new PCs or PCs they never wanted because they have a MacBook. And MacBook is pretty good. Look, there's thousands of people playing it on Bootcamp right now, and this is pretty huge. You can use, you know, this is the most simple version. Just run a Bootcamp. Unfortunately, it's slightly inconvenient to do it every time if you want to play, but it's certainly better than nothing. So if you don't have a PC at home, if you have only console, if you have a Mac, for example, okay, let's look at this situation. If you only have, you know, your parents and this MacBook and you have like a PS4, for example, let's say you're 16 to 18, right? You don't have any source of income, you're broke as hell, and you want to play Valorant on the Mac, but it's not released yet. People have been bootcamping this stuff and they're actually playing. Now, what I would do if you're really patient is I would wait a year for them to possibly release it on Valorant consoles and Valorant Mac. So that would be another great idea you can actually do. So here's what devices can run on Windows, you know, what can Bootcamp. So MacBook 2015 or later, MacBook Air Pro 2012 or later. So all of these can run like Valorant and shit. 2012 or 2015 is all you need. Like, this is so good. Okay, so MacBook 2015, maybe some people have 2013 and can't run it, I'm sorry, but you definitely have a MacBook Air Pro 2014, for example. That's simple, right? If you're watching this video until now, be sure to subscribe. You know, I'll leave the link in the description, I guess, but definitely check so you don't do anything stupid. Anyway, this is Fatman signing out for this video. Peace, guys.